So I will tell you guys in a minute how I dodged a bullet from China, metaphorically, at least at the moment. So we know the news about China limiting the game playing time of kids. We know the news about online games that are new are going to be a lot more restricted in terms of approval. And then lately, they've come out and said that games with effeminate men, and they called them sissy idols, would no longer be accepted in China. Now, that's China. They can do what they want. Obviously, they can do what the fuck they want, and they do. And that's fine. That's their country. Do your thing. I disagree with almost all of it, but there you go. But today there's a story that came out that said about 216 companies that are Chinese game companies have all signed this self-regulatory contract. It's not legally binding, but it's sort of like the ESRB in the sense that they've agreed to self-regulate based on the Chinese government's demands. Ultimately, if the Chinese government is making demands, they can tell them they have to do it or they'll fucking go to jail. If you don't believe me, this is literally footage of a guy in China who was pulled off the streets because he, broke the horrific law of going online and talking bad about the police. Right, so I'm sure that if you're one of these game companies in China, you're probably going to get in line. Okay, fine, whatever. The question is, the danger is, the suspicion is, how much of this is going to come over and affect games everywhere else in the world that Chinese developers have a hand in, whether it's 100% ownership like Riot Games, whether it's not 100% but meaningful ownership like Epic, or even if it's just the desire for American companies to get their games to be allowed into China. Dante would never be allowed there. Devil May Cry. Last of Us 2 already isn't allowed there for a number of reasons, including the LGBT themes. Probably most Final Fantasy VII characters would fail the sissy idol test. Depending on who you ask, depending on what articles you read, China also has a racist problem in terms of with black folks. Could they release Deathloop? I don't know. Stars a black dude right there on the cover. I don't know. I mean, depends on the day. Depends on the way the wind blows. That she decides to wake up and go, I've decided I like this or I don't like this. So, yeah, I mean, I have a problem with it because I don't know how it's going to affect creativity everywhere else in the world that makes video games. I think the bigger problem I have is maybe I shouldn't be. I'm 50 years old. Maybe I'm just naive, but I am continually surprised by, especially Americans, given our supposed love of freedom, willingness to continually do whatever China wants. We do it all the time. And what's to say that if Sony really wants, I mean, again, I'm speculating. I don't, Herman Hulse may say, fuck you, China. I'm not doing that. I don't know. But we've seen it with the movie studios. We've seen it where the movie studios will put things in that are pro-China, take things out that are anti-China to guarantee the movie releases over there, to guarantee the movie gets support over there. Money trumps freedom in America. That much is obviously clear. As much as we want to say freedom is more important, I think that's clearly not the case. So the bullet I dodged, it was about 4 months ago. I got a call from a guy, his colleague. I don't know him that well, but I respect him a great deal. Great industry vet. And he says to me, hey, I'm I'm involved in sort of, Tencent here in America. We're setting up some companies, and it might be a cool idea to talk about you coming in and directing and making a new, big budget AAA game. And I had already pretty much decided. I mean, it's been an ongoing decision process of like, I'm just, other than what I'm doing now with movie games or various things that are sort of special case, I'm not looking to get back into games right now. I'm loving what I'm doing right now. But still, it was almost like that last trapeze swinging towards me of, hey, Jaffe, it's not a done deal. It wasn't like Tencent had paperwork drawn up, but it was like, okay, if I could have had, and I had some, and I have some really cool ideas, and I'm a good pitch guy, and I could have put some great teammates together and said, hey, look, Tencent, this is a good deal, and it would have been. That trapeze of get back into AAA, get back into the big time, Jaffe, I could have done it. And it wasn't a hard decision, A, because honestly I didn't want to do it, and I didn't have to do it. And privilege, I'll tell you what, man, privilege, it's pathetic that privileged choices can be attributed to moral fortitude. I'd like to think I would have made the same decision if I needed a job badly, but I don't know that. I mean, certainly my kids and taking care of my family comes before my love of freedom, right? I mean, I'm not a moron. I get that everybody has their price, but ultimately it wasn't that tempting of a trapeze to leap to. But there was a few days where I was like, I got a really cool idea for a big budget fucking game. It could be awesome, blah, blah, blah. I think I would have about lost my mind. Tencent is 100% owned with Chinese money. They signed this document this week with each other 216 companies saying we will acquiesce to all the demands of Beijing. And imagine just every creative decision having to go through not just the normal checks and balances, the publisher and the ratings board of ESRB to make sure we stay within M, and does marketing that's just what you get used to. That's just life in the big leagues when you're spending people's money. But then you're talking also about decisions that have nothing to do with what's right for the game and everything to do with what's right for this crazy fucking agenda of this dictator who's running China right now. There's no way I could have stayed. I think I'm pretty good at running gas stations now that I've been playing Gas Station Simulator. I think I would rather go run a real gas station if I could get the job. I would show them my stream of Gas Station Simulator for a resume than I think work at a company that dictated creative decisions based on telling creatives that they exist to push a political agenda. I think you can go fuck yourself. I don't understand it. And I'll tell you something, it's absolutely wrong for me to judge my former colleagues that are, whether you're talking Epic that has sold 40% of their company to Tencent, whether you're talking about straight up Tencent, whether you're talking about Riot Games, 100% to Tencent, and they're all in, man. I mean, they've got 5% of a bunch of big game publishers. Might have, I don't know if they have any ownership of Sony or not. Let's see, they have Ubisoft 5%, Paradox, Remedy, Clay. They have a majority stake in Clay, the guys who make Don't Starve, which is surprising. It looks like they have an ownership to some degree in Discord, 5% in Blizzard. I'm just like, they own some of the Sumo Group. They might own more of it now. They might have bought all of some. But anyway, it's impossible. I don't want to judge people, because at least colleagues or former colleagues, because I don't know their situation. And they could easily have situations with them where it's like, the deal we have with them is they can't control. They may not be able to put our shit out in China, but we do whatever the fuck we want here. And if it doesn't ship in China, that's not there's a lot of details that I don't know, that I'm not privy to. But if it is what it looks like on the surface, which is ultimately they are beholden to China, which means they are beholden to one man, which is GC, whatever the fuck his name is. If what it looks like is accurate, there's a point though, not all of them, but I know a lot of them that are working in these companies have a lot of money. Okay, so it's no longer about survival. It's no longer about I got to pay my rent, I got to take care of my kids, I have to be able to eat. That's done. A lot of these people I'm talking about, these aren't QA guys that are just trying to get by paycheck to paycheck. These are CEOs and heads of departments and veterans who've been in the business for years, unless they've got like a coke addiction or a gambling addiction, or they just haven't saved their money and invested their money well, there's no reason that they should be doing this. In their case, I do judge them. In their case, I do look at them from afar with my nose pressed up against the glass because I'm not on the inside, so I don't know everything. And I say, guys, what will it take? It clearly isn't the Uyghurs, the Muslim Chinese folks. That wasn't enough to get you to walk away. Is it this? Is it your creativity being controlled and told that you cannot create certain kinds of characters? Where is your tipping point? Or maybe you don't have one. And that's... I dodged a bullet, fellas. Wasn't a very fast-moving bullet. I would have dodged it anyway, but the planets would have aligned and I would have taken that deal. Woo-wee, you would have had the best video viral of somebody quitting a job probably today when this news came out that you've ever fucking seen, because there's no goddamn way I would have left quietly. I would have left, but it wouldn't have been quietly.